Welcome to Atec Garage. Just a little short video, a couple of bits what we'll be doing today. I have no idea what we're doing yet, but I'm sure we'll get into that in a minute. So put kettle on, make yourself a brew, find a comfy seat and enjoy the video.
Right then, morning, just opened up. The first job everybody needs to do, put kettle on, tick, job done. Then, got to get dog fed.
Get everything cleaned up, washed down. I've neglected it for a couple of days, so everything needs a good old dusting off. I've been using this stuff. Decent, waterless car wash and wax. I did that one yesterday. It is bob on, to be fair, there's like a sheen on it, so when they do get dusty, it's easy to wipe off. So yeah, we'll get them dusted off, but first, grill. Should always get milk a sniff test as well. Yeah, that'd be alright. Right then, let's go and see what Pete's up to, eh? Go on.
So these have just come out from the powder coaters this morning. We've had two sets done there for a ZX6 and these are for a Tiger 800. We've had them finished in this metallic silver, which to be fair is absolutely gorgeous. And it just really tidies the bike up and makes it look like brand new. So we're going to get these built up all four and get some new tyres on it, bearings and everything and get them fitted back to the bike. So obviously building this wheel up, first thing is get the tyre on. So we're over here at the tyre machine, and for this one we've actually ordered some brand new Avon tyres. These are a good kind of road touring tyre. So we've got to get this fitted to this rim in the first place. So some of these tyres can be an absolute pain, but hopefully this one will go quite easy. Tags and whatnot first. So when it comes to fitting tyres, they do actually have a direction. So on most wheels, you'll have an arrow, as you can see in the middle here, and then you need to match that arrow up to the direction of your tyre, because it is actually an MOT fail if that tyre is not fitted correctly. So the best way to do this is lots and lots of soap. Just to help it glide on. And now we go. Well, the first bead's always easy. This one will just pop on. Then you're out of it. The idea is to bar it on while operating the machine. And there she goes. Easy as that. Now the scary bit is we've got to get some air back into this tyre to pop it onto the bead. And these can take quite a lot of pressure, so we're going to get it off of here so we can pump the air in and hopefully it will pop on without scaring the life out of us. So now we've got to get this tyre popped onto this bead. So it actually has to seal up around the rim, and it can be an absolute pain to get them to pop sometimes. So let's have a look at this one and see what it's like. The worst bit about this is you're looking at this side of the rim, but the other side you can't see, and when that pops you always jump. So we are up to 35 psi at the moment. Oh, there goes that side, so we're just listening for the other side to go in. Any minute now, we are up to 60 psi. There she goes. We'll check it on that side, look. It's all sealed up around the rim. So now we can just set the correct pressure, which I believe on this bike is 42 psi. And there we are, 42 psi. So the next job now is we'll take this wheel over to another bench and we'll get all the bearings, the brake disc and everything fitted back to it, and then we can get it put back on the bike. So we're now over to the bench, time to fit some wheel bearings. Now luckily on this bike both bearings are the same size, so it's just a case of pressing these in or hammering them in. Now I've always found the easiest way is to get them started with a hammer. We actually have a special bearing driver tool, which is alloy, so it's not going to damage anything. So we hit that one home. So on this side it actually has a circlet to keep that bearing from moving. So you do need a pair of circlet pliers in order to get these in. The trick goes all the way home. And then it does have a dust seal on this side to keep all the dirt and road crap out of the bearing. So we'll tap that in. And then we can flip the wheel over and drop in the other bearing on the other side. Now this bearing, once it's tapped in, is actually held on by the sprocket. But we do have a spacer that goes in the middle. So that spacer goes up against the bearing we've just tapped in. And then this one will sit up to that spacer and obviously put it in the right position. So same thing again on this side. Get the hammer to get it started. And then drive it home with the tool. You can hear it change the sound there, so that's it home. So that's his bearings in. So next we want to fit the brake disc. So I'll just grab that. So here we've got a nice shiny new brake disc to fit onto this wheel. So these are held in with T40 Torx bits. God knows who decided to use a T40 Torx bit instead of like a 12 or 13mm, but there you go. Fairly simple, just 4 bolts. But the amount of difference it makes to the bike with just all new parts, new disc, the wheel freshly powder coated. So we'll just wind these in and then we'll get them torqued down. Now I'm off to find the torque settings for them bolts and we'll get them torqued down and finish building the wheel up. Right, so after consulting Google, we found out that the torque settings for these are 22 Newton meters. So we've got a torque wrench here and we'll get these bolts torqued up properly. And there we go. Now torque settings are always a good idea using. Obviously the manufacturer publishes these torque settings for a reason. Now you could just try and estimate how tight to make these bolts, but as I said, there is a reason that they have the torque settings on them. So that's them done. So all we've got now is the sprocket to go back on the other side. So as we were saying when we put the bearing in, there's no seal on this side of the bearing because the seal's actually on the sprocket on these. All bikes are set up different. There it is. There's the sprocket back on. Discs on that side, tyres on, so now we're ready to throw this back onto the bike. So final step is to get the wheel fitted back onto the bike. Now these can be a pain in the arse sometimes, but hopefully this one's going to go quite well for us. So we have got spacers either side. That's this one here and there is one on this side as well. They are generally different as well, so make sure you know which spacer come off of which side of the wheel before you come to put it back together. Chain on first. Make sure that those spacers don't pop out as you're trying to get the wheel back in. Case of holding the wheel up like that while you get your axle in. And there she goes. So then you do have these which are for your chain adjustment. And then finally, these do actually have a locking nut on the back. And that's it, the rear wheel on. So we'll get that tightened up, get the pads put in, and then 3 more wheels to do, and then hopefully we'll be all done. Well, after actually getting a chance to review the footage of today, I actually found out that Paul basically did nothing.
What?
He spent the entire day stood outside pretending to clean this Triumph.
And 29 others.
All we have is 25 seconds of footage because that's all he did. He basically tossed off the rest of the day, watched me work, and did absolutely nothing.
Well, you know what they say, tough at top. Well, thanks for watching everybody. See you on next vid.
Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not a doctor.